Welcome to the Whole Truth and Nothing But the Truth podcast. We are Patrick and Terry Caserta, authors of the Brandon Act and founders of the Brandon Caserta Foundation. Today, we will be discussing the Navy's response on the WAVY news report of suicides on the George Washington aircraft carrier. Patrick?
Yes, I was looking through the articles and I came across this. The Navy snuck this up there and I was appalled. The reason I'm appalled is, first off, I want to point something out. They spent more time on this than they spent saving people from suicide. And on top of that, we are paying taxpayer dollars for these people to be PR people for the Navy when that is waste, fraud, and abuse, because all they're doing is covering the tracks of killers. These commanding officers are responsible for these suicides, in particular on the George Washington. And if you have any doubts, you need to go back and read all those articles. We called for his demanded that he be relieved, and they did not do it. They did go to the carrier, the Navy secretary, kept it closed from the news, and did not talk about the what happened and transpired, but they kept the CO in charge. This is the same CO I want to point out to you that there was an attempted suicide on the ship. He didn't even call the mom. And then when he did call the mom, he used the excuse, I can't keep track of all the sailors on the ship to get in trouble. That was the excuse he told the mom, word for word. You can read that in writing and you can hear it on audio. It's out there. This is factual. And he never notified her. She had to go to the news and then he notified her when the news came out. But anyway, I want to talk about this response.
Now, this is on the WAVY website from the...
Yes, it's on the article itself. And what happened is WAVY posed questions, and I'm going to read the question and then the response that they gave. It says, what actions has the Navy taken on board the USS George Washington? Says here, Navy leadership remains fully engaged with the crew to ensure their health and well-being and to ensure a climate of trust and encourages sailors to ask for help. To date, the following actions have been taken. There are diverse resources available on the ship to include a licensed psychologist, a behavioral health technician, 3 chaplains, a deployed resiliency counselor who is a licensed clinical social worker, an applied science intervention skills team, compromises sailors who are trained to act as first responders to a teammate at risk. Now let's talk about this. First off, 3 chaplains, you'll see later on there's 2 to 3, not 3. Second is a behavior health technician, a technician. Okay, really, nothing against this person. This person would be great on a team. I have no problem with that. The problem is they put out an article that there is a psychologist and that person is making rounds on the ship. That's it. A crew of 2,700 people, that's who's walking around the ship. And a licensed psychologist, no offense, I'm sure this person's good. If you have 10 deaths in 10 months, would you not hire the best of the best to come on there? Would you actually use somebody other than that? How could you not use somebody that's the best of what they do? And this is it. That's all they did. Chaplains. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to take a hit on this, but I'll take it. Chaplains are great people. They are great. They're fantastic. They are phenomenal. However, they are not the ones to be handling this situation unless it was life or death or there's no one else to do it. And that means that this ship was deployed. They're ideal for this. We are, again, this is more to the pier in Norfolk, Virginia. Remember that, because that's going to come up repeatedly in this. As far as this other stuff, 10 people die before this happens, just so you know this, okay? Let them trick you into believing otherwise. That is wrong. 10 people die, they do this. This is not bad. I'm not going to deny that, but this is stuff that they've had in place for years. It doesn't work. Why does it not work? Because it's not addressing the problem. Yes, there's a suicide problem on the George Washington. However, the problem is the leadership and accountability. That is why people are dying. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. Do not believe this garbage that they put out.
I agree 100%.
And put on there, the Navy deployed a special psychiatric rapid intervention team designed to provide mental health assistance to those on the ship. Again, I've talked about this before, I'll say it again. This ship is moored to the pier in Norfolk, Virginia. Every single resource that is available to the entire network of bases in Norfolk, Virginia is right there for them. They could have gone there at any time. Anytime. Now, all of a sudden, they're there for them, but they weren't there for them before. They're moored to the pier in Norfolk, Virginia. Okay, remember that. Next, the commanding officer conducted an all-hands call with crew on 18 April to address these incidents, reinforce available resources, and solicit input from the crew. The Navy assigned one additional clinical psychologist and one licensed clinical social worker to the ship to support sailors. Okay, a couple of things with this. First off, an all hands call by the commanding officer. He is the one responsible for these deaths. That's just great that he had an all hands call after 10 deaths. I'm impressed. Come on. After the first death, this should have happened. 2 deaths, this guy should have been gone, period. We're up to 10 and this guy's in all hands. That is not going to work. This is just smoke and mirrors. This is ridiculous. This man needs to go along with his chain of command, period. Okay, additional psychologist and licensed clinical social worker. Well, I'm here to tell you, nothing against social workers. I think they're great people. I actually have a minor from Arizona State University in sociology. However, psychologists hate social workers. So I can't imagine these two working together, but let's just say they are. That is not good enough. Like I said, you get the best social worker in the nation, whoever that is, I don't know, but you hire them. You have endless pockets, you hire these people, and you get them over there and find the cause of this, which the cause is, they already know what the cause is. It's the toxic abuse of leadership and abuse of power. You don't believe me? Read the articles. The kids tell you, they tell you.
Yep, they sure do.
Sailors are being provided immediate access when calling Hampton Roads appointment line, as well as being provided expedited appointments for network mental health referrals. You have to be kidding me. This hasn't been going on from day one, and 10 people died, and they're finally getting priority? The other people at that base have died this way, and on their ships and on shore commands, and these people are getting a priority now? Come on. You believe this stuff they write? Why do you believe this? Your children are out there. They need to be safeguarded. You cannot believe this stuff. It's great. It is a true statement. There's no doubt in my mind. The problem is 10 people died. 10 parents, sets of parents are out there and families are devastated, friends and neighbors, and the list goes on. All these people are devastated by this. These people don't care.
Shouldn't they be afforded that anyway? I mean, they should come priority anyway. Why is this one ship the only one getting priority?
I agree. And the problem is they don't have a mental health network set up there that can handle people. Correct. It can't handle an influx, can't handle anything. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. Because they've been getting funded for 50 years now from Congress, and the military has been allocating that money elsewhere. They have every right to do it as long as they're meeting everybody's needs. Remember that key term. Obviously, you're not meeting their needs when you're waiting 2, 3, 4, 5 months for an appointment, and you can't go see somebody weekly when you have problems, and you can't see somebody immediately when you have a problem. That is not meeting their needs. So the Navy mismanaged this money, which means the top did this, or they inherited it and didn't care. So sailors are being provided mental health opportunities via network mental health providers. Hey, that's fantastic. I think it's great. That's a great thing. The problem is there are many resources like that out there from other organizations that already do that they're finally implementing. This should be from day one on this. These people should have been getting this from the first death.
Yep.
9 more. We finally have it. I'm impressed. The Navy has requested support from military and family life counseling programs. Again, there is no doubt in my mind they're great programs. The problem is you requested this after the 10th death. And the attempt, don't forget the attempt of suicide that they covered up and denied, and then they had to admit that it happened. Don't forget about that. How many others are covered up? The Navy is coordinating with Fleet and Family to provide educational, other support classes and groups aboard, such as stress management, anger management, financial counseling. This stuff is constantly going on. And if it wasn't going on that ship, then obviously you have another problem identified. But they threw it in there to make it look good. They paid somebody to write this. That's just lovely. With our money, mind you. The Navy is coordinating an onboard health assessment by the Naval Health Research Center. I got news for you. Again, great people, no doubt in my mind. Unfortunately, these people have failed miserably over the years. Look at the numbers. Go back 50 years, go back 30 years, go back 20 years, go back 10. They have failed every year. And you're going to ask them for help. What are they going to tell you? To set up another hotline like you already do? Come on. The command is meeting with members of the Naval Medical Center, Portsmouth Caregiver Operational Stress Control Team to discuss unit assessment opportunities. Again, I commend them for this effort. Those people are good people. Again, they're not addressing the problem. The cause of this is indeed toxic abuse of leadership, abuse of power, and accountability. Commanding officer to Washington is implementing swift and impactful changes to support mental health and well-being. How could you have not done that when you first got there? How do you not do that after the first death, the second death, the third? You know how this goes. My point being is he's just now doing it, of course. That's great because you're in the news, you're doing it because you're trying to keep your job any way you can. I'm impressed.
Pretty sad.
He ordered 2-day operational pauses for all departments to support an off-ship morale-sponsored activity. That's just lovely. They went to a baseball game or a football game or something. Come on, that's not going to fix anything. That's 2 days off for these people that the same problems are there. Yeah, and then on top of that, you think I'm going to go to a baseball game with toxic, abusive leaders? You're crazy. There's no way. Unbelievable. I made up the baseball part. It's just a joke, meaning who knows what they did. The bottom line is whatever they did, again, it is not going to fix the problem. You can have barbecues every day. That's not going to fix the problem if you're not addressing the true issues.
Exactly.
CO is conducting small group meetings with junior sales to better understand their most immediate concerns. Well, let's see. Let's talk about something you don't know. Every day there are reports to the CO. There's 8 to 10 of them that are reported every day. And one of them is the habitability report. What that means is that's going to tell you, out of, I'm making up a number, 1,000 toilets, 100 of them are down, so on. It will tell you this. The CO knows every day his equipment, what's up, what's down, every day. So all these toilets, the heat, all this stuff has been out, the electric, all these things have been out. And the guy is now reacting to it. Now people died and he's in the press because he didn't do it on the first suicides, the seconds, the thirds, the fourths, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, the eighth, ninth, or 10. He decided to do it now. He knew about this. He knew how many toilets weren't working. He knew electric and heat was not there. He knew it. Every day he knew it. Every single day.
And hot water.
And hot water. And then addressing their concerns. What are you going to tell the CO? Honestly, what are you going to tell him when he's the problem? What are you going to tell him that your boss is the problem? You really think they're going to listen to you? No, you're going to end up dead yourself.
Yeah. They're going to drive you to it.
A carrier group operational stress control trainers are board to provide a 2-day buddy care class, which encourages peer-to-peer intervention to address occupational fatigue, compassion fatigue, caregiver stress, and burnout. All right, let's talk about that. First off, you have 2,700 crew members. How many members a day are going through this? I'd love to know that. And how often is this class offered? Next is that training. Who set it up? If that training didn't come from the Brandon Caserta Foundation or our affiliates, I assure you that training is not anything that is going to solve the problem. It's going to focus on the same stuff that they've been preaching from day one. We need new ways to do things, and we have those. Not only do we have them, we know what the problem is. Again, we start with the problem. That's getting rid of that chain of command and that commanding officer. And to take it a step further, I could stop all suicides tomorrow in the military. You want to know how? Hold commanders accountable. Tomorrow, somebody will die. There's no doubt in my mind. You're going to have a couple of suicides. Hold those commanders accountable. They'll end immediately.
And
you hold the top accountable too, they'll end.
We've been saying that for 4 years.
4 years. And what's funny is, we've talked to almost every member in Congress one-on-one and with their staffs, some in person. They all of them agreed to us. We brought that up every time.
Right.
They all agreed with us, just so you know that they all agreed with us. Every one of them. No one ever went against it.
That's when we were pitching the Brandon Act.
And we were talking to active duty officers themselves, younger ones.
Yes.
They agreed. At least one department, at least one person in every department will receive this training with a minimum ratio of one person trained for every 50 people in the department. All right, so there's an answer to the above question. That's not a bad ratio. That ratio needs to go higher than that. And not only that, like I said, that training's not good enough. We have to have people trained to a high level. We have a program that we know will work. We have programs, all kinds of programs out there that we have that we want to implement and do. And we know what we're talking about. And again, we are going to have professionals helping us, the best of the best helping us. And there'll be no technicians involved.
And that's through our foundation, the Brandon Caserta Foundation.
The commanding officer provided sailors permanently housed on the ship, about 400 personnel, with the option to relocate temporarily to off-ship housing if desired to benefit from the support services and morale, wellness of recreation programs more readily available to local institutions. I keep reading about this. It's 400 people are the ones stuck there, but only 200 out in town. They're claiming the rest didn't want to move. That's an outright lie. We talked to some of these people. That is untrue. They did not move everybody out of town. They want you to, again, it's smoke and mirrors. They want you to believe people wanted to stay on the ship. Who in their right mind would want to stay on that ship when 10 people died? And some of them were these people's friends. Nobody. They're lying. They are not. All those people should be out in town. And to top it off, I will tell you this. So let's just use their numbers. 400 people are affected, they're claiming, which we know the number's higher, but let's use it. Half of those people are moved out in town. Ironically, the person who attempted suicide, it was not one of those 200. Now you tell me, how is that even possible?
Nor was that sailor ever asked to go.
Correct.
To leave. And it was his second attempt.
Then it says, as of 2 May, 260 sailors were given the option to move off ship accommodations. In subsequent weeks, up to 50 additional sailors per week were given the option to relocate until the sailors who reside on board have been given the option for off-ship accommodations. Again, after the second or third death, all these people should have been out in town. Actually, some of them were. They were moved back to the ship. They don't want you to know this. When the suicide started up again, don't you think you should have moved everybody out in town literally overnight? I mean, come on, how hard is it to do this? It's not that hard. It really isn't if you want to do it. If you don't want to do it, then it is hard.
We need to talk about the ones that have duty. They have to stay on the ship.
That's another thing, the ones that have duty, every fourth day, I assume they have duty. That means that the people that live out in town, they all have to come aboard and sleep. So they're still sleeping. These people that move downtown, they're still sleeping in those conditions because those conditions aren't necessarily fixed. And if they are, that's great. But I'd love to know too, it's amazing. You know, this giant ship, all these people live out in town, but these 400 supposedly. And none of them are, we'll just say E4 and above, maybe E5 and above. All those people live out in town. And what's amazing is officers, high-ranking officers, stand command duty officer, and E7 and above all live off base. They come aboard on duty. And then E6s, 5s, they're all there on their duty day. They have to be, and they're going to sleep on the ship. It's amazing how their air conditioning, heat, electric, all that works. It's amazing how that never goes out, but only goes out on the junior people. That's free. How is that even conceivable? I guess one could say they're working on the rear half of the ship only. Well, that could be, I guess, but the bottom line is once it's reported this stuff's not working, it's up to them to make accommodations and arrangements for these people right away. They were trying to save money. That's what they don't want to tell you. And that's what happened. They were trying to save money and they were making these people weather the storm through something. And people were dying and they're still having them weather the storm. They got caught on the 3rd suicide in a week. That's when they got caught. Remember all those people that died before then. Why don't you go ask those parents how they felt about those 3 deaths that occurred that week, yet alone their own family's death and the ones before that, knowing that this could have been prevented.
And in E6 that's a chief?
No, it's a first class petty officer.
First class. I was going to have you talk about the ranking so they know what an E5, 6, 7, 8 is.
This is the services on board the ship include full medical team, including licensed psychologists, a corpsman qualified as a behavioral health technician, 2 to 3 chaplains now. Remember it was 3 in the beginning? All trained in clinical pastoral care, a licensed clinical social worker serving as a deployed resiliency counselor, an organic applied suicide intervention skills team. Compromised sailors are equipped to act as first responders to a person at risk. These people that are dying, they're not calling out for help. They're not asking any of these people for help. They're not going to ask those people for help. That's because that's not how it's done. You go walk around, patrol around. What is this, high school? Giving a final exam or something? I mean, come on. That is not what you do. Having these people available is a great thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to deny that. These people were available all along. Right. Now they're on the ship and you expect me to believe they're sleeping when there's no heat, air conditioning, food and all that. Mold, they're sleeping in mold now. You expect me to believe that. And if you walk around, these people are going to approach them in front of everyone and say, I need to talk to you. And these people are going to cure them on the spot, huh? They're going to cure them because they don't have room to take additional counseling up with these people. Come on. At Naval Medical Center Portsmouth, someone with an urgent need is able to get an immediate in-person appointment or seek access through emergency department 24/7. Okay, really? Yeah, we know that. 20 emergency rooms 24/7. That's pretty much what we're taught. For operational forces, there are command embedded mental health providers, both pure side and aboard deployed units who are immediately available to service members for urgent concerns. Okay, those people were always there and always will be there. They're talking about things that are already in place. They're not working. Okay, it doesn't take, again, we had 10 suicides in 10 months, 3 in a week. These people are available now. They were available all along, but they're available now. And I'm sure it's making a difference. Come on. Our military treatment facilities employ a multidisciplinary team approach to mental health care, assuring our service members have immediate access to urgent needs, an average of 11 days for those seeking appointments for routine mental health care. They also have robust inpatient mental health services for our most seriously ill patients. That is unsatisfactory. Those people should be available on the drop of a dime, period, at all times, period. 11 days, come on. 11 days.
That's a long time.
And they're bragging about this. They're bragging to you because they know you're not going to read this. They put this up here. Like I said, I'm lucky I found it. Additionally, there are a matrix of 24/7 community resources for all service members seeking mental health care, such as Military One Source, Telemed, Navy and Marine Corps crisis hotlines available that provide direct support. That is a fact. Those things have been around forever and a day. They were available for those 10 that died. They were available for the other 500 that died before them, and they were available for the thousands that died over the years. All that was available at all times. You could see that's working really well. This is also of note. We have convened a larger team to assess command climate and various quality of life issues affecting our aircraft carriers currently undergoing maintenance. The team will identify those quality of life issues unique to the shipboard environment and provide recommendations for immediate actions and identify areas for additional review and future actions to improve. Sailors' quality of life in a dynamic environment, the composition of this team include various subject matter expertise to review areas spanning command climate, safety, habitability, personnel, manning, mental health, security, human factors, Navy policy regarding sailors residing on board ship during extended maintenance availabilities, overhaul shipyard safety and disciplinary and administrative procedures. Additionally, this team will invite participation from other DoD and DoD directorates to ensure we have the appropriate enterprise to review and assess the aforementioned subject areas. Really, all this stuff existed a long time ago. You put this in place after 10 deaths. You couldn't have done this after the first, the second, the third. This stuff has been around forever. This is hilarious. Just saved the CO's job. Really? That man should be taken away in handcuffs. And I stand by that. And I said it a long time ago. He's still in charge. More people will die, period. These people are not to be trusted. They're not to be in charge. They are to be held accountable, period. And no one is doing that. We cannot afford to allow our sailors and service members to deal with this, period. Then they put on here secretly someone PhD director, Defense Suicide Prevention Office. Oh, this office is great. Let me tell you, they're doing a fantastic job, just so you know, because see, these numbers keep going up. They don't go down. They highlighted some of them. Apparently the Army in Q4 had 8 less. These people are celebrating. I'm impressed. Look at this, 5 less. The Navy had 5 less. These numbers, they're supposed to be zeros. Anything above 0, you're failing. You are failing. How is this acceptable? How could you put an acceptable number?
Was that this year?
Yes. No, it's 2020. Yep. Well, it says Q4 2021, but it says 2020 here. Let's see if I can find 2020. Ooh.
Scroll. Yeah, there you go.
There it is. So they went up. They actually went up here. Q4 at 85, Q3 at 70.
Army?
Active component.
Okay.
They all went up. All these numbers went up. I wouldn't even be showing this. This is a complete failure. This department, we've repeatedly reached out to them. They've written us letters. They don't talk to us. They don't do anything. They do their own thing. And we, the taxpayers, are paying for this. Let me tell you, I don't know how you measure success, but it's simple the way I do it. It's 0. Okay. The goal is 0. Anything above 0 is unsatisfactory.
For suicides?
And people are dying here. And this place has failed miserably. I'm sorry, people that work there. Maybe your hands are tied. Maybe you know the truth. The DoD doesn't care. I don't know. The bottom line is you've failed. We need new things and other ways to do things. And the only way you're going to find that out is to get in line with society. Society dictates policy, like it or not. That's a fact. Ask any sociologist, they'll tell you that word. Bottom line is the military is not keeping up with society. They're fighting it and they know it. When I was in recruiting, we didn't have much of a choice but to comply with society rules. And it was tough. I got to tell you, I'm not going to tell you it was a cakewalk, but it wasn't as hard as they're making it out. It wasn't that hard. A few mistakes here and there, poof, it was no problem. It's really not hard if you put your mind to it. But the biggest asset the military has is people. People come first, last, and always, period. You cannot conduct a mission and have force readiness at 95% or above without taking care of these people properly. They are not taking care of these people. We need to do something about this. The only way to do something about this is you have to get involved and get outraged over this. If you're not going to get outraged, then I'm going to leave you with this. I've said it before. You haven't really read it, but I have said it on podcasts, and I will say this again. I know your son or daughter is never going to join the military. That's what you're saying. You don't have to worry about this. Well, our son was not supposed to join the military. Matter of fact, I told recruiters I'd never let him join, and I meant it. I was faced with a dilemma. The dilemma was this. Kid was in swimming and karate since he was 4. He wanted to be a Navy SEAL out of nowhere. And the only way to be a Navy SEAL is to join the Navy. And the guy was epitome of shape. He was well-trained, had a shield of armor. I'm telling you, you could believe what you want to. People here will tell you this, his real friends, not these Navy fake friends. You could call Brandon any name you wanted. That kid would laugh at you with that smile that makes you want to smile. He'd give you a goofy face and break out laughing. He could care less what you thought of him, calling him a name. That kid had a shield and armor, untouchable, before he joined. And we did not want him to join. We had 2 choices. Say no, you could join later when he's 18, excuse me, or we could support him and give him everything he needed to be successful. We chose to do it later, and I feel any parent would do that. I really do. So we got him ready, went out. I bought him the actual SEAL fins. We bought him the mask, the the snorkel. We got him the swim gear. We got him everything. He worked out all the time. He was in swimming. He was on the USA swimming team actually here. And he continued on with karate. He worked out. He worked out with a bunch of people. He blew away the SEAL test. When I say that, don't get me wrong, he doesn't have the best time ever by any means, but his time was very respectable and consistent, like crazy. And in an aggregate, he kicked butt. And he helped others do better. He pushed them to the max to do better before he left, so much so that they felt that he really had a chance because he was so much into teamwork. And so he joins, he's in the SEALs. Again, you can't predict what's going to happen with that. A large percentage do not make it through. All we were worried about was Hell Week, and we were worried about it because not many people know exactly what goes on that week. But I will tell you this, Brandon was called the Energizer Bunny in high school. The kid had stamina, unbelievable. He did not tire out. So they were not going to get him on the physical part. It wasn't going to happen. You tell him to do 100 push-ups, he'll do it and smile, period. So mentally, I can't tell you what would or wouldn't happen. It doesn't matter because ironically, because the same instructors that rang the bell for our son and denied our son medical treatment are the same instructors that killed Lovelace. And he was killed in the pool 2 hours after Brandon collapsed on the beach. So the bottom line is, you know that those people rang the bell for him because they cheated and they kill, obviously. But bottom line is, our son wasn't supposed to be here. So let's fast forward a little bit. Let's go 10 years from now. Your 10-year-old is now 20, maybe even 18, and they want to join the military. They're adamant about it. You're like, you know what? Why not? No problem. And then you feel the military's changed because you read articles like this response here, right here. You're assured this right here is going to save your kid's life right here. Navy said it. Trust me. All true too, right? Believe all of it. So your son or daughter joins the military and they're in 3-4 months. They're doing well, very well. And then all of a sudden your doorbell rings and there's 2 uniformed service members at your door telling your son or daughter's dead. Now what? Remember, it could never happen to you. You're saying that to yourself. But let's analyze this. Turns out the same people who killed our son killed your son or daughter. How would you feel knowing that you could have done something right now to stop that from happening? How would you feel? Think about that. Now let's take it a step further, because I know what else you're thinking. They're never joining, no ifs, ands, or buts, it'll never happen, period. Okay, so your son or daughter graduates from Yale, they're an electronical engineer and go to work for Google. And they're kicking butt, doing well. Well, I hate to break the news to you, but people get out in the military and they retire too. And they move on. And it turns out that the supervisor, one of the people that killed Brandon, is your son or daughter's supervisor. And your son or daughter, again, the police come and notify you that your son or daughter is dead. And it turns out that that was the people that killed our son. Again, how would you feel? Remember, they were never joined the military. But see, these people retire. They're out there. They run security forces. They are engineers. They're everything. They can be anything still. You never know what they're going to be. They could be anybody. You need to think about these things. This is how it works. This is why you stop people that kill people, because once you stop it, it ends. If you don't put a stop to it, it continues, because they got away with it. They got away with it once, they'll get away with it again. That's how they think. But remember something, military has something unique. They have the Ferris Doctrine. They're protected. You can't sue them. You can't do anything. And no one will ever find any of these commanding officers guilty of anything when it comes to this stuff, period. They're not going to find anybody guilty. So they have a license to kill, literally, whether you believe it or not. And you don't, watch this. We've already been notified. One of the person with probably, we'll say, the most blood on their hands that killed our son, that person is doing the same thing where he's at now. Same exact thing. It's already been reported to us. And this is the same person before our son died that was messing with another person before our son. He was taking bets on when that guy would commit suicide, taking bets on it. And get this, the people around were okay with that. They lived to tell the story, did they not? How do you think we know? We didn't hear it from the guy, trust me. Taking bets on when this person's going to commit suicide. You tell me, what are we going to do about this? Together, we form a coalition, we work together, we support each other, and we move forward. And trust me, the Brandon Caserta Foundation leads the way on doing away with suicides, period. We lead the way, period. We got the Brandon Act passed. We went to Congress ourselves, we wrote it, we advocated for it, we pushed for it, and you have no idea the energy and the time put into that. And we got it passed. That was step one. There's more to come. The bottom line is we know exactly what we're doing, and we have support and help of Congress and others. And we look forward to working with those teams, getting stuff in place. We cannot get this in place if the military does not allow us to do it. We need to make the military do it. The only way we're going to do that is to demand it. And we demand a meeting with the Secretary of Defense, period. Secretary of Navy had his chance, he dodged us, so be it. We'll go to the Secretary of Defense, seeing as how he's interested in bringing suicides to zero. Where the Secretary of Navy, I don't know what his intentions are. I'll actually word it that way. The bottom line, he's not going to meet with us. We're nobody to him. But here's the deal. I'm retired 22 years Navy. We wrote the Brandon Act. It passed. The president signed it on 27 December 2021. That should have been implemented by now. It's not. Those 3 people be alive today. Actually, about 6 of them be alive. It would have been implemented like it was supposed to.
Yeah.
It's not implemented. It needs to be implemented. Secretary Del Toro doesn't have an answer for this. He doesn't even talk about the Brandon Act. He acts like it doesn't even exist, yet he was ordered to implement it. That's an order. President signed it. It's an order. Ironically, if you want to check, the Vanessa Act is not implemented either, ironically. The 2 biggest bills ever to pass are not implemented that will save lives and make a difference for these service members. Neither one of them are implemented, yet they're both signed into law. This is what I'm talking about. The military does and gets away with whatever they want to, and we allow it to happen. We cannot allow it to happen anymore. These commanding officers are not who you think they are. Don't get me wrong. May I take this last moment to point out to you, there are a lot of good people in the military. There are hundreds of thousands of them. And these people run commands properly and they care about people. We are not talking about them. We're talking about 30% of the bad ones. The problem is the bad ones recruit bad ones, and somebody's got to break the chain here, and then all good takes over. Because I assure you, the commanding officer to George Washington, he gets relieved. You relieve that chain of command, new people take over. I guarantee you there are probably people that have never had a chance to do that, and they will make the best of it. And you'll see no more deaths. You will see chained. You will see that CO giving out his cell phone number, all that stuff. You will see a difference, period. So just follow me on this and work with me on this, and you will see. I'm going to do more of these in the future. You will see that we together can make a difference. That's all I have for you on this one. You know how to get a hold of us if you need to. Thank you. And please at least consider what I'm saying. That's all I'm asking you to do. Again, we can't sue the military. There's no money in this. We're doing this because it's the right thing to do. Our son asked us to do it in writing. Go to thebrandinact.com. You can read the letter. You can go to Brandon Conserta Foundation. The letter's there. You can read it. He tells us to do something. We're going to do it. And we did. And we're far from done. That is why we're doing this. We stand to watch with you and for you, period. That's us. There's no motive. Yes, we have a donation button. We do need donations to help families. That is what we're going to do. You got to help those families too, because we can't get to them overnight, all of them. We got to be able to help people and do things. However, all our money is going to go out. You will see this in writing shortly. 85% of our money is going back out, 15% kept. We're not drawing salaries. And none of our board members get salaries either. They're not gonna, for at least a long time. For now, we're never gonna draw a salary, period. It will be donated back, or we're just not drawing one, period. But the bottom line is we need your help. We need your help in donations. We need your help in support. We need your help in getting the word out. We need your help getting your neighbors to get involved. We need you to roll up your sleeves and get help. Fundraisers, you name it, we need it, because we are the leading leaders here. Others claim to be. I'm telling you right now, they're not. But again, I commend them on what they're doing. We're not talking bad about them. I'm telling you, our goal is zero. Anything less than zero is unacceptable, period. Thank you.
And our website is www.brandoncasertafoundation.org or www.thebrandinact.org. Thank you for listening to The Whole Truth and Nothing But the Truth podcast. We hope that you enjoyed this episode. If there is a military topic that you would like us to discuss, please leave a comment and we will get it in our sites to do a podcast on that. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.